Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Comic Source. Have the returning legend, Todd McFarlane, joining me today. He's got a giant announcement. I don't want you guys to have to wait. It's exciting news. Todd, take it away.
Hey, Jason. Hey, thanks for giving us the time. As you know, we're constantly sort of trying to get in trouble over here on the McFarlane side of things, either in entertainment or video games or comics or toys or whatever. But the big news we got coming up today is that we finally, after decades, have been able to make a deal to do Marvel figures on the toy front. Um, so for literally decades, I used to go to Toy Fair and felt like I was the only guy that wasn't getting any Marvel, DC, or Star Wars. I was like a I was like an orphan off in my corner. It seemed like everybody else had some version, some piece of those brands, those big AAA brands, and finally we were able to sort of hook the deal with Marvel Comics. So we and the upside of it is that, at least for me, and this maybe is going to sound egotistical, is that I get to now do figures, and some of them will be based on my own artwork. So I like basically it's McFarlane doing McFarlane, right? Okay, I think I can interpret my artwork better than anybody else, so we'll see. But also the other great pleasure will be to be able to pick and choose characters and artists and covers and events and things that I think will translate into nice 3D posed figures that are going to come to the market with dioramas with attached to them. So
Yeah, like you said, decades in the making, long time coming. I mean, when we think of you getting your career started, kind of these iconic images, if you're watching on YouTube, everybody, you can see, that 301, similar to 300 with Venom, maybe the most homage kind of cover image and pose ever. Yeah, long time coming. I think fans are going to be really excited. So you're announcing this at Phoenix Fan Fusion, our local show, this Friday. Anything that you can tease beyond that we're going to, see some of your, I have some images. Maybe we can kind of go through and see what else might be there. You mentioned being excited to do your own stuff, but other artists as well.
yeah, I mean, obviously I've had a long career and been able to sort of become friends and acquaintances with many of the top artists that are there. But I'll now get to sort of pick and choose. No, and again, it allows me to basically do some classic artists, some of my contemporaries,
Hmm.
and then some of the new generation that is basically stoking the fires right now, right? And we'll be able to do a wave of it. I want to sort of wave the wand if we can, and hopefully we'll get the support from the fan base to do sort of a wide range of everything, all things Marvel. I mean, they're opening up the comic book vault, so I should take advantage of all of it from sort of the beginning all the way up to yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So we've seen a couple promotional images. The one I had up there, Spider-Man. Here's a Cap Spider-Man cover from your run. But then obviously there's some that, the most iconic images ever, right? Like Spider-Man #1, one of the best-selling comics ever. I would think that that would be one that you would want to do. Um, but you mentioned kind of diorama, and that's the other thing that I want to talk about here. Is it just going to be kind of a diorama thing, or are we talking about really doing some kind of posable figures? You're known for doing, really cool weapons and that kind of thing. Are you still working
Yeah,
that stuff
yeah.
out?
So the contract that we have doesn't allow us to do posable articulated figures, right? I mean, that's a big contract that Hasbro has with
Gotcha.
Disney and Marvel. And again, I'd want to do the same thing. You protect your good partners.
Hmm.
So the question was over the years, like, man, how do we find a corner, right? That we could do. And so this is sort of the version of it that we take art. And again, I don't even want to limit it just towards covers per se, because especially like when I'm doing my Spider-Man art,
Hmm.
right? There are many poses and panels that I think I did inside those Spider-Man issues that I drew that warrant like a 3D image of them, right? So
Right.
that again, if you had 10, let's fast forward a couple years in the future, if you had 10 McFarlane Spider-Mans, they would all be different poses and swinging and different things of Spider-Man because I put them in so many different uh, uh, sort of frozen moments of him during his swinging cassade, of going from building to building. So again, it, and I think every artist would say the same thing. Every one of our best drawings isn't on the cover, right?
Yeah.
We had lots of good ones on the inside, and then it also allows me to do things like, let's say, I don't know that I ever did like a big cool cover of like Hobgoblin or I don't know if I even put like Juggernaut on the cover or something like
You
that,
know,
right?
it's funny you mentioned Juggernaut. Maybe you don't remember this, but I do have an image I think that would be fantastic on your Marvel Tales. Look at
Oh
that.
yeah, oh there it is.
Yeah, fantastic.
I guess I did put him on the cover. Yeah, no, I did do a bunch of those Marvel tales, and we were actually looking at some of those because I think there was a lot of X-Men or mutants
Yep, yep.
were
Here's
on the
another.
covers.
Yeah,
Yeah, right there, right.
yeah.
So we've talked about like even Storm the other day of putting her on our hit list of because that'd be fun with the big cape and things like that. So, but like again, I'll get to have a little bit of fun by scratching the itch of doing 3D of my own artwork, but also, like I said, getting to pick some of the fan favorite stuff of the Marvel history. And I'm sure, I'm sure there will be no lack of opinions of
Yeah.
people going, Todd, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? So,
Yeah, you mentioned, and I think it's a good point. I looked at some interior images. Problem is the quality is just not great. It's always covers you can get great scans, but here's kind of a very famous, iconic Venom cover. But you're talking about doing some interior stuff. I think of that final page of is it 299 where we get
yeah,
to see Venom like the first time.
the
That
very
would
first
be,
one. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's an interior one that would be fantastic. And just I don't know if this one's on your radar at all, but I gotta throw my obviously my opinion in here. If I had probably one image, and it is a cover, that would be great as a diorama. I mean, that's one of my favorite issues when Spider-Man beats the crap out of the Hulk. But that would be a fun one as well.
Yeah, so one of the things we're gonna do, we're gonna play with format and scale, right?
Hmm.
So to begin with, we'll just have the figures isolated by themselves. But again, if you're doing a cover, like for instance, I think you showed the Captain America. That's from a cover that had Spider-Man on it too, right?
Hmm.
So possibly in the future, we do a Spider-Man and he's crawling down that happens to match that pose. That's cool in and of itself.
Right.
But if you happen to have both of them, right, and we figured out how the bases can sort of connect, then you could actually sort of replicate that cover even closer, right? Which means that if you're doing, let's say, something from X-Men #1 by Jim Lee, right, where there was a whole, you know, sort of slew of characters, then can you make three or four of them and then be able to stack them in a way that it actually sort of kind of replicates that
Yep.
cover a little bit? We'll see, right?
Yeah, kind of almost a kind of a build your own. There's a one of my favorites, but the Spider-Man on it is a little wonky. It's actually this one from your Spider-Man run with the Ghost Rider. You didn't do a lot of Ghost Rider, other than this issue, and there were some images inside that would be great as well. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No, there's an image of him on his motorcycle at the top of a building. That's
yeah,
typically like, there he is. There's badass Ghost Rider.
yeah,
So, yeah, because again, given that I was doing, like a book that had a single character, everybody was sort of in and out in an issue or two.
yep,
So on the cover, even though they might have been cool characters, I didn't really get to play with them that much. On the inside, there might have been 40, 50 drawings of them.
hmm
It would be, way more conducive to doing something super cool. So I think once we sort of show and we sort of vet what we want to do, both with my artwork and then with some of the peers in my industry, and we sort of say, well, here's where sort of the inspiration of this came from. Again, as long as we advertise that, if you will, on the box, that people will go, oh, it's that image that you're trying to replicate.
Right.
That's cool. You did it. They don't have to, like I said, they don't have to have, I'll be from some cover that, I mean, because again, you're going to run out of iconic covers fairly quick, right? So we want to make sure that we spread it all around and just come up with, at the end of the day, just come up with cool looking images. I don't care where they come from. They could even be from an ad, right?
Right.
I did some Spider-Man stuff. There was some advertising that I think would be cool big poses too.
Yeah, and the other thing is that people they don't always recognize it, right? Like you're looking at a two-dimensional image, on a cover or an interior illustration, but when you see it 3D, if you're not looking at it from that exact same angle, it's you might not necessarily recognize it. So,
Yeah, like that one right there, the 301. I have images. Maybe we should send them over that are at that same angle. And
mhm.
then when you see it at the same angle, then you go, oh man, there it
Oh
is.
yeah,
Right, there it is. There it is. But because you now have to your point, now you have to make it in 3D, start turning around, it might not be instantly recognizable, right? I
right,
mean, I remember we ran into this when we did things like South Park and the Simpson toys, that
mhm.
everybody was used to seeing them flat, and nobody has asked the question, what's the back of Homer's head look like, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And so you have to just create what you thought that was, so that you could finish it up in a 3D pose of it. But anyways, we'll see. We'll see how all this plays out. Like I said, I'm sure people will give us their opinions and or some of their favorite images that they would like to see also.
yeah. I mean, and open it up to other guy. I'm thinking of Mark's classic uh, Wolverine on the X. Where he's
Yeah,
crucified. That would make a
yeah,
great image as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Well,
No,
I'm
just stuff that would be just stuff to be cool and big on the shelf, right?
yeah,
And again, we initially tried to do so the scales all matched, but I don't think we even need to do that, because it's not like I said, they're not like interaction articulated so you can interact them
yep,
together. So I don't think we have to worry about that. So if I've got somebody that's in a crouch, instead of him coming off a little bit small compared to somebody standing straight up, we should just make them big, just like you do on covers,
yeah,
right? You
yeah.
you fill the space, and you don't really worry about what the other character on another comic book, what his scale is. You do you do your thing. So we'll play with scale too and get the reaction from the fans.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea because again, us collecting these and getting different ones and being able to kind of build our own 3D covers, you're going to want different scale because you're going to want smaller stuff to put in front that's kind of crouching. You're going to
Yeah,
want the Hulk, or Juggernaut real big in back. So yeah, I think it's important to have a variety of sizes.
yeah. But again, the I've seen people who've had, and I'm sure you've seen these too. You might even have one yourself, that they go, okay, I like Batman. Let's just pick a character, right? And they have like 100 figures of Batman on a shelf, and they're all different sizes and scales and
Yeah.
shapes. And that's the cool thing about it.
Yep.
If they were all exactly the same size, I don't think it would be quite as exotic to look at, right?
Yep.
I think it's really fun to look at different sizes, different styles of it, like everything from like video games, animation, TV, cartoons, comic books, coloring book look, like whatever. That's the fun. That's the fun. And then if you're doing something like Spider-Man or now like Iron Man or Superman or whatever, they all have multiple costumes over time too. So you
Mhm.
even have different scales, and it's all Superman or it's all Iron Man, but you've got like all these iteration. That's cool, I think, to the Iron Man collector, to the Superman collector, to the Spawn collector, or whatever. Um, so I don't think you have to, especially given that we've got this sort of sliver of a contract. I don't think we need to play by the same rules that we do with our action figure. I think we can just have fun in different ways.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. So I'm sure our audience is wondering two main things here. Okay, so what's the timeline? Like, when can we expect to see these, and where are they going to be released? Are they going to be released through the website? Are we going to see them in stores? Have those details been worked out yet?
Yeah, no. They'll be out as wide as we can get them. I know a couple of the big stores have already committed. So they'll be out there. The time frame, I believe, is shortly after San Diego Comic-Con, I think. I
Oh,
mean,
great.
it's coming up. We're planning on at San Diego Comic-Con to have a bunch of them in 3D that people will be able to see for the first time and take a look at and go, oh my gosh, that's cool. Um, but maybe not. Maybe they come out a little bit before. I'll have to chase that answer down for you.
Okay, well, as you said, everyone's going to have an opinion. Everyone's going to want to know, which ones and which ones there should be and that kind of thing. Is that a collaboration as far as the decision of what's going to come out? Is that a collaboration between you and Marvel, or is that all in your court?
Yeah, I think that they know that, look at some point, when you're doing a partnership, you have to sort of know everybody's sort of strengths. I think they're going, hey, well, Todd, you know your artwork better than we do,
Right.
and to some extent, you're a pretty big geek, right?
Yep.
So just bring us your suggestions. If we have other suggestions, we'll make sure that we're not shy about it, and we'll sort of go back and forth. But we're also, I'm also in the process of let me like signing cards, right? So I'll be signing cards. Some of them will have autographs on them too, right? So you'll be able to get autograph stuff. So it'll be kind of cool. So
Fantastic. Are there going to be any reprints of the ones that are like iconic covers, obviously 301, that kind of thing? Are there going to be options where they're packaged with a reprint of the book?
yeah, yes, yes. So not all of them at all scales, but yes, we're going to do it, and as much as to some extent that Marvel, Disney allow us and are comfortable with. So um, we're experimenting with a couple different ways on presenting all of this. So yeah, and again, because it's sort of the easiest way to sort of show what you were using as your source materials,
Yep.
and just put the source material in there. And some of them, again, I'm getting old. Spider-Man 301 is 30 years old, over 30 years old, right? So the next generation might not even have that copy. So they're like, oh, okay, you're going to throw in a copy of it. That's cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and you're kind of cool to be able to maybe you frame it and have it, behind your display or what have you. So, well, thanks so much for joining us, Todd. This is exciting news. Like you said, a long time coming. You're
Yeah,
such a
long, way
trusted,
long, way long, way long, way too
yeah,
long.
way too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, you know your stuff. When it comes to toys, you know what we as as geeks like. So finally glad to see that this is coming to fruition.
Yeah,
So
and the thing is, we're hoping to, especially on somebody like Spider-Man, right? I mean, his costume is more complicated than you think,
well,
and
the way, yeah,
and then trying to simulate that as a 3D will will continue to, because this is our first crack at it, figure out how to do it not only justice, but also so that it simulates my artwork even tighter and
hmm,
tighter, right? In terms of the thickness of it, the amount of webbings and all those other things. But we're dealing with the factories right now, and Spider-Man sort of shocks them a little bit, right? Superman, Batman, Iron Man, where you can just stamp like a logo on their chest, right? Out way easier, right? When you start doing people that have stuff that wraps all the way around and stuff like they're like, oh, Todd, hold a sec. So we'll figure it out. I'm sure. My guess is that is like anything else. Oddly, your first version is always your worst version
yeah,
because you just get better, right? I mean, I look at my first set of Spawn toys when we started the toy company, and to me they're kind of laughable, but at the time they were like a cut above.
right, yeah.
uh, and now look at how far the industry has come. So
Well, if I know anything about you, Todd, you're not going to rest until it's just how it should be.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, I
yeah,
will figure it out I don't think I figured all of it out the first wave, but I'll keep getting it to go there. That's my artwork in 3D. So
Yeah, keep pushing, keep challenging. So, well, again, thanks so much for joining. Congrats on the agreement. Any last words for our audience as we're winding down here?
no, just look forward to sort of all the sort of events coming out in comic books, and we got Deadpool to look forward to coming out pretty soon. We've got Joker 2 coming out, and a couple other sort of comic book things coming down the pipeline. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get Spawn in that conveyor belt, and just it's fun to be a geek and to go out and interact with each other, either online or in person, like the convention. So, which is where we just made the announcement of this. So, yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. It's a good time to be a geek.
Yeah,
So,
100%. So, everybody let your geek flag fly, and be sure to be on the lookout. I'm sure we'll be announcing on Spawn Daily when these are going to hit stores. So, again, congrats on the deal, Todd, and thanks for your time.
all right, be good.
Yep, take care.